Bee and Puppycat is a show I would describe as a perfect coming-of-age story, which is interesting given that its protagonist is in her 20s. Yet this is exactly why the show works so well. For those unaware, Bee and Puppycat is a show about a girl, Bee, and her companion Puppycat taking on various missions to earn cash while interacting with inhabitants of various planets and Bee's own friends back home. It's a simple premise, but it works well enough for the show's short episodes. As a whole, the series clocks in at a little over an hour long, though with the series moving to Netflix this year for its second season, that means that length could indeed lengthen with more episodes being funded. Also, I will say, I know the second season is floating around on the internet there somewhere, but I can't find it anywhere, so this video is only going to be talking about stuff that happens in the first season. Each episode is fairly self-contained at the beginning of the series, with only vague hints to a larger story and deeper character motivations, with really only episode 10 bringing everything to a head and inviting the viewer to take a deeper look at the show. Now, on the surface, this is fairly typical for a modern cartoon. Hinting at a larger story and expanding it more in the second season has become the bread and butter for many modern story-driven cartoons. Gravity Falls and most recently The Owl House have used this to great effect, with The Owl House having the most drastic difference between its seasons, and Gravity Falls just being perfect with its story and season pacing as a whole. A show that would be more comparable with Bee and Puppycat would be Steven Universe. The comparisons could already be made with the themes and aesthetics, and I think a deeper parallel could be made with the end of their first seasons. Season 1 of Steven Universe does an excellent job of expanding on the hints given throughout the season for major character reveals and world building. It signifies the world changing around Steven, yet Steven himself does not change. That comes later in season 2, but with these final episodes, Steven exhibits the same optimism and loyalty to his friends that he has shown throughout the series up to this point. Steven Universe is a coming-of-age story. It's about growing up in traumatic times and making it through by surrounding yourself with good people and handling your problems as much as you can and resting when you can't. Bee and Puppycat is about the after. Being in your 20s is very different than being in your teens. I recently turned 21, and I'm about to enter my senior year of college. I've already started work on my thesis, and nearly every day I'm looking at grad programs, apartments, jobs, and internships. I'm excited to start my adult life and go into a field I'm passionate about. I crave having my own space, filling it with pets and plants and books, yet I am also crushed by the weights of expectation and fear. The world is a hostile place for a young person first venturing out on their own, especially right now. The rising prices of the housing market, the lack of jobs that pay a living wage, my student loans hovering just outside my reach. I feel the expectations of my professors who I love and respect. I am inspired by them and want to prove to them that their faith in me is not misplaced. I am afraid of failing and getting hurt. Failing as an adult is very different than failing as a kid. Being a failed adult could have severe consequences on your health and livelihood. Maybe all of this fear is why I've turned more to the kawaii aesthetic recently. I used to love grim stories of war and loss, stories that analyzed the human condition and the drive for power and survival. And while I still love all of those stories, I've invested too much into A Song of Ice and Fire to simply turn my back on it. But I want to escape into my media now more than ever, and I want to escape with meaning. Studio Ghibli films are more of a comfort to me now than ever. I've returned to my hobby of crocheting with gusto, and centering my wardrobe around pastels is so exciting. I am determined to be happy. And this is where Bee is. Bee has suffered a lot in life, and most of the events we can only guess at so far. Yet everything about her for most of the series is bright and happy. She wears soft clothes and bright colors. She watches comfortable, familiar shows and seems blissfully ignorant of the trials of adult life. For most of the series, Bee comes across as someone who is a child stuck in an adult body. While her friend Deckard has a job and heads off to culinary school at the end of the season, struggling with the decision throughout the season, Bee displays no such concerns. She gets fired from her job at the beginning of the show and abandons attempts to find another, only doing her jobs with Puppycat for cash when needed. She has no thoughts of leaving home or developing a career. She is simply content to just live. That is until the finale. And spoilers for the finale, if you haven't seen this show, I highly recommend it. It's easily accessible on YouTube and is barely an hour long total, so you really have no excuse. Continuing my thoughts, the reveal of Bee being a robot, and that there's actually a lot about her we don't know, is so refreshing, and it provides so much depth and clarity to the themes of the show. The Bee we see at the final seconds of the last episode is not the Bee we've been watching and growing to love for the entire series. This is a girl who is broken and lost, who doesn't know how to handle her trauma or approach life as an adult. As a result, she hides behind a veneer of innocence and optimism, but that does not erase her problems or the realities of life. Deckard leaves for culinary school at peace with his decision, and Bee and Puppycat deepen their friendship. The ending is somber, but hopeful as well. As much as I love stories of teenagers coming of age, now stories of people in their early 20s confronting life are more powerful for me. That is the stage of life I am in right now. As I struggle with the fear I feel, I turn to shows and pastimes that help me escape. I watched Bee and Puppycat for that initial reason, yet the show flipped the table on me, instead giving me a real coming-of-age story. Bee and Puppycat is about becoming an adult in a surreal and beautiful way. It's about confronting your issues, letting go, and saying it's okay to take comfort in the familiar, and it will help you, it will strengthen you. I've been away from this channel for a long time. I felt such a disconnect, wanting to create content but never being satisfied with the scripts I was writing. You guys have no idea how many scripts I got hundreds of words into before abandoning completely. These videos have always been a work of passion for me. I've never had the goal of making a living making videos or releasing a certain amount of videos a week or month, as you can tell just by looking at my channel. I've been so consumed by fear and the drive to grow and mature, I actually forgot to live my life, something Bee and Puppycat reminded me to do. So yeah, I am back. I am working on a backlog of videos so I can schedule them and have videos releasing throughout the school year. School is the main reason why I haven't been, making videos for a while. But I want to get back into it. And spoiler, a lot of these videos are going to be about deeply personal things to me. I find that's what helps me to create videos. I don't want to just create videos just because. I want to create them because I care about them. So thank you guys for sticking with the channel and keeping, watching my content and things. And I always feel bad when I see that people are subscribing or commenting on old videos because I'm like, I'm not active anymore. I'm really sorry. But hopefully that's going to change. So to all subscribers, old and new, thank you. And I'm here for good, hopefully.